Stephanie Dobson is with us again this week. Stephanie is a lawyer and mediator in Lloydminster. And today, Stephanie, we are carrying on our series talking about process when going through divorce. And today we want to talk about mediation. So can you start out by telling me, what is divorce mediation?
Sure. So divorce mediation is a process which focuses on achieving resolution between two parties in a way that works for both parties. So separating spouses would hire one divorce mediator. So the meetings would be each separated spouse and the mediator in joint sessions. So there's sort of a four-stage process to get from start to finish in mediation. The first one is an initial consultation, just so that I can make sure that the process of mediation is going to be right for your family. Secondly, we go through a series of joint 2-hour or so meetings to get from point A to point B resolved on every single aspect of your separation. Third, we're going to draft a separation agreement. And fourth, you're going to have separated spouses will have to go to a lawyer, each separately, to have that agreement signed off with independent legal advice. So there's sort of 4 steps to the mediation process.
Stephanie, how do families know if mediation is for them and the way that they want to go about going through their divorce or their separation?
So there's a few statements that you would want to make sure are true in your situation to make sure that mediation is right for you. So there's sort of a laundry list that I go through. Things like, I want to avoid having the court decide my future. My children's needs are my priority. I want to focus on the future and not on the past. I want to reduce conflict between me and my former spouse. A quick and efficient resolution is my goal. And the key, I would say, is to make sure that you feel that with the help of one neutral person, so the mediator, you feel that you can make your voice heard.
Now, if families are going through the mediation process, Stephanie, do you need to have a lawyer involved? Do you have to get a lawyer involved?
There's a couple different ways that you can do mediation. There's lawyer-assisted mediation and lawyer-unassisted mediation. So lawyer-assisted mediation is where you would retain the services of a lawyer, and you would have them either help you out in between session to provide you some feedback as you're going through the mediation process, kind of sort of in the background a little bit, or your lawyer could actually come to a session or two with you. The lawyer-unassisted mediation is where it would basically be a 3-way meeting. So during the negotiation process of the separation, you wouldn't have your lawyer necessarily with you. The key, though, is at the end of your mediation, once the negotiations have come to conclusion, most of the time you'll need to have your separation agreement signed off by a lawyer. So whether you get them involved at the negotiation stage or just at the end, typically you will still need a lawyer's involvement.
Now, obviously, COVID-19 is an issue for a lot of different businesses now, including going to seeing a lawyer at any point. So can you do a lot of this virtually, Stephanie?
You know, since March of 2020, I've been doing all of my mediations virtually with the help of Zoom. The health and safety of my team, as well as the families that I serve, is always number one. And I feel that what I can do is, because my job I can do remotely, I feel that it's my job to continue that remoteness to help, to prevent further spread of COVID.
If families
There's been no problem.
That's great to know, and I know that families are looking for ways to get around doing these things as well. So virtual meetings is obviously a great option. If someone, Stephanie, is, because of, there's the different regulations and rules, and they do want to get into the mediation process, what's the best way to start that?
I say this in every segment. I feel like a broken record a little bit when I say to our viewers, do your research. At the very least, make sure that mediation is the right process for you. And you can do that, for example, on our website at henkadivorce.ca. We have lots of information about what mediation is, how it works, how to get started, as well as on our Up a Notch Learning e-learning community hub. But the best way, I would say, is to actually have a verbal conversation with a team member at our office. They can explain to you what mediation is, how it works, and even hear a little bit about your situation to help to see if instinctually it sounds like it's a match. At the end of the day, before we decide to go ahead with mediation, I do need to meet with each separating spouse individually so that I can have that one-on-one conversation and make sure that it's the right process for you.
All right, Stephanie, well, thank you once again for chatting with us today, and we'll be back to continue this conversation next week.
Thank you so much again for having me.